through that. We can't save ourselves. The thief cannot save himself. He has no one else to turn to but the man in the middle. There's nowhere else for him to go. He's stuck. And at some point, he's watching Jesus as he continues to return compassion to these people that are harming him. See, Paul writes to the Ephesians, he says, you were dead in your sin and your trespasses. I'm dead in that. Without Christ, I'm dead. Without Christ, I have no hope. Without Christ, there's no way I can save myself. And see, he writes again in Ephesians again, he says, for it's by grace you've been saved through faith, not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no one can boast. You cannot work your way to heaven by being a good and moral person. There are going to be some moral people that are in heaven, and that's going to mess a lot of these people up that have believed this liberal gospel that we've been perpetrating on this world for the last 25 or 30 years. Good works don't cut it. The good works part comes on the backside of the relationship because I've been renewed and I have a new focus of my life, and it's no longer myself, it's Christ. You know, because when we're living that way to start with, I'm the biggest person in my kingdom until Jesus. When I get born again, all of a sudden, I find out that I'm not worthy to sit on that throne anymore. I can't sit on that anymore. That belongs to my King. My responsibility is to come kneel at his feet and serve his pleasure for whatever he asks me to do. Do you understand when God gives you a mission in a job, if you will, nobody checked the bank account. I mean, when the king gave an order, the accountant didn't run over to the king and said, listen, king, we're getting a little short on money here, so you might not be dealing out those jobs right now until we build up the treasury a little bit. God doesn't have that problem. When he says, I need you to go over here and do this, he's already figured out a way to get the resources into you, and you're not going to get that until you get over there where he said to go. Because if you don't go, you don't need the money. You don't need the resource. I mean, I made a lot of people nervous this past couple of weeks because they would say, Pastor, how are you going to pay for that? And I'd say, I don't know. It messes accountants up. I'm going to tell you, that messes them up. And they're just like, well, you have a budget? Yes. What is it? I don't know. Well, how do you know when I don't know. When it's done. When we've accomplished what God has said for us to do, then we'll know we're done. Do you know I've already begun to get people come to me and say, we would really like for you to do this again. Would you do it again? 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 Would you make it something more frequently than like annually? I had a group of people around me last night saying, when we coming back to do this again? This rocked. We've seen God touch people and heal people, and we need to be doing this. And I'm like, okay. I'm going to let my people go home and rest like a week before I drop something else on them because I have wore them out. Yeah, everybody's like, amen, Pastor, to that, man. I won't be surprised if I come in next week and there'll be like a certificate like to a cruise or something laying on my desk, you know. It's like, get me out of town for a few days so I don't be messing nothing up.